Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review the 2018 comedy movie Tag, a movie that is supposedly based on real life events. And it stars, it's got a star-studded cast here. We've got Ed Helms, Lil Rel Howery, Jon Hamm, Annabelle Wallis, Jake Johnson, Isla Fisher and Jeremy Renner. And this film focuses on a group of school friends who, for the past 30 years, every month of May, play the game of tag. And it's an idea that they had to keep the group together, keep the sense of fun, etc., etc. Now the problem is that while they enjoy playing this game of tag, in the whole of the 30 years they've played it, they've never once tagged Jeremy Renner's character, Jerry. He's super evasive, very, very clever, and they've never ever managed to tag him. So at the beginning of the movie, they all get together, it's the beginning of May, and they put a plan together. They find out that Jeremy Renner's character, Jerry, is getting married, and they're not invited. So they plan to spoil the party, turn up unexpectedly, and tag him when he's least expecting it. And this film then follows the shenanigans of all this, trying to tag Jeremy Renner and the interplay of all the characters. Thrown into the mix as well is an ex-love rival when they were kids. Jeremy Renner invites her to the wedding, knowing that it will stir things up and distract them, as two of the people, Jon Hamm's character and Jake Johnson's character, had a thing for her when they were young. So he knows that he's going to stir up trouble if he invites this girl to the wedding and distract them so they lose their focus. And that's your movie basically. It's this group of people trying desperately to tag Jeremy Renner, who is actually, Jeremy Renner is really well cast in this because he puts all the things that you've seen him do in previous films, in the Bourne film he did and the Marvel movies, all his super moves that he does, they're all put to good effect here. So you believe that he's like this really super evasive person and really clever and really slick and, all the crazy stuff that he does in the film to evade being tagged, you believe it. And that's your movie. Now, this film has been getting a lot of buzz, a lot of good buzz from what I can see. I've not really seen a bad review of this film yet, not really critical. And to be fair, we've had a pretty good year this year for comedies. We've had Game Night, which was good, Blockers was good, Ideal Home, that nobody's talking about, the Steve Coogan, Paul Rudd film, that's very good. And there's probably a couple of others I can't think of right now. So we've had a pretty good year for comedies this year, and this is another one to be thrown into the mix, to be considered, as a pretty decent comedy for 2018. Is it as good as the others? It deserves to be mentioned in the same breath as some of the others I've mentioned there, certainly. It is fun, and I can't deny that I laughed out loud more than once, a few times while watching this film. It is very, very funny at times. The concept is really clever, and it does make for a fun movie. But there are aspects of this movie that don't work, and I'll go through some of them now. They bring on Annabelle Wallis's character, who at the beginning of the movie is interviewing Jon Hamm's character for a newspaper article, and she gets involved because she thinks this tag game is actually the story rather than whatever she was going to report on initially. She didn't need to be there, and this didn't lead to anything. The love rival that they brought on board to stir up the group and stuff for them to lose focus, they didn't need that. That didn't go anywhere, and it didn't really work, I don't think. At the beginning, they're trying desperately to tag Jeremy Renner, coming up with all these crazy schemes, and at the beginning of the movie, Ed Helms' character comes up with a genius scheme. He actually gets a job at Jon Hamm's company, a cleaning job, just so that it could tag him unexpectedly. And that was genius, it worked perfectly. Why couldn't they do something like that with Jeremy Renner? He's not that clever, surely. and the film gets a bit dark at the end, unexpectedly so, that in regards to two things that it chooses to do. One of them, and I can't say because it'll spoil it, I didn't appreciate and I didn't think was funny, even though they didn't project it as really being funny. They kind of projected it as what it was, a pretty horrible thing to do, but I didn't appreciate that in the movie. And another thing right at the end, it was, maybe it happened in real life to these school friends, I don't know, but I don't think it transferred to the screen well. Something that happened to Ed Helms' character at the end kind of put a dampener on things, and it just all seemed to get a bit dark by the end, and it kind of petered out. The humour of the film petered out, I would say, and it kind of, that was it. Best way I can describe it. But I did have fun with this movie. I'm not going to deny it didn't. I thought for 3/4 of it, it was well made, pretty good chemistry, good acting by everybody, and fun, and definitely funny. I thought Ed Helms again is just playing Ed Helms. It's getting a bit boring now. It's a bit like Jason Bateman. I think Jason Bateman is managing better. They kind of play the same character in every movie, and I just think they need to shake it up. Well, certainly Ed Helms does. He does a fine job in this movie. He's just Ed Helms, but he's the same Ed Helms you've been seeing in all the other movies. It's just the same character. He needs to challenge himself, I think, in future movies. So I'm going to give this movie, guys, a 7.5 out of 10. I did enjoy it. I did think it was funny. There are problems with it, and like I say, I wasn't keen on the ending. Didn't really work for me. But it is certainly worth a watch if you like a good comedy and you want to watch something that is a bit fun. I do recommend this one, guys, so thank you very much for watching.